Yo, you're watching Lemon and Wooster.
All right, hello everyone. We're back.
Welcome back. So we've got our heads cool. We've got out of that room where we didn't drown. We're good.
It was cool because I freaking drowned in that room like 50 times over until Sammy freaking told me that there was a freaking another memo under the freaking bed that I thought I pressed on. But that's fine. That's fine.
It's okay.
We're cool.
It's okay. We got the paper out of the way. Joey got his problem solving hat on. It's all good. All right. So the last we just kind of escaped. We ran away from the rushing water that was coming through the hallway, and now we're at these stairs. So let me just recap. A polished floor stretched out before him, ornate staircases rising up from the edges, each one of them equidistant from the others. The stairs and pillars were solid wood, and Art Nouveau embellishments and decorations covered the walls.
Art
and
Nouveau?
pillars.
What is that?
Is my French correct? Is that Art Nouveau? I don't know French.
All right. Well, I mean, like, I think it's correct as much as I can read it.
I don't know. I took Spanish, dude.
I'll just say it in a Spanish accent then.
But it's not a Spanish.
Yeah, but it's all you know.
Art Nouveau. Art Nouveau. It looked like nothing so much as the entrance to a luxurious mansion from the early 1900s.
Yeah, this looks like the Titanic. You know, like that one scene where like they're dead and like the camera pans up to Jack. This is exactly the Titanic. Dude, are we on the Titanic? Are we dead already? Is this hell? Because 999 upside down is 666.
Jinpei couldn't help but wonder, was he really in a ship?
The mystery.
The water quickly filling the hallway behind him suggested that, yes, he was. As he looked, a fresh wave rolled out of the room he'd been in, gathering speed as it moved toward the stairs.
Wait, this ship is sinking then.
Yeah, that's what I thought. This is totally a wait, what the hell? Oh, wait! Nani? I gotta get out of here!
Junpei spun around, his wet shoes squeaking in protest on the polished floor, and ran towards the tremendous staircase in front of him.
My shoes are protesting. They don't want to be stepped in anymore.
Whoosh! C deck. Whoosh! B deck.
Oh, this freaking music.
Whoosh! As he ran, he glanced quickly at the plates mounted on the wall, denoting the decks of the ship. Whoosh! He took the stairs, 2 at a time, not entirely sure where he would find himself. Just as he began to wonder where, in fact, the stairs did lead. People! Junpei saw another person out of the corner of his eye. Person. Blech. He stopped short, nearly tripping over the next stair, and looked. It wasn't just one person he'd seen. On the landing to the left of the stairs, there were 4 people staring at him. And on the right side, 3 more. All told, there were 7 of them. It looked as though they had been on their way down from the stairs. They stopped short when they saw Junpei, their eyes wide. He'd done the same, of course, and now they stood there, staring at one
I'm calling
another.
it right now. Guy in the overalls, the orange overalls, he's gonna die. Guy on the right is gonna die as well. They just look like characters that were not spent that much time on. They're gonna die.
Oh man, those observations. I'm not gonna confirm or deny.
They look so like more detailed and like so much more like handsome and more beautiful. So I'm just
they've got plot
armor on. I'm just saying.
Junpei didn't move, one foot placed awkwardly on the next step, in the middle of a stride.
Especially that girl, she has a lot of plot armor. You know if you know what I mean.
Who are those people? This entire interaction lasted only a matter of seconds. The woman spoke to Junpei, and time began to move again.
No.
Do you want to do the girl voice?
I guess there's another one of us now.
The woman was dressed, Junpei thought,
yes.
rather like a dancer.
Yeah, she is indeed dressed.
Her clothes covered very little, and her prodigious jewelry little more. Yes, I know.
Jiggle.
A little bit of fan service here.
Yo, come on, man.
Hey, you, come on, hurry.
With no further ceremony, she ran straight past Junpei and towards the doors behind him. The sudden proximity of a woman with such striking assets left Junpei momentarily stunned.
Those assets.
But the others wasted no time and quickly followed the strange woman. The first to pass Junpei was a young man with silver hair.
I just want to say I'm glad we kept playing this game. Nah, I'm okay now.
Why? Because of the striking assets? Oh gosh. Oh no. He threw a quick glance in Junpei's direction as he ran, muttering.
One of us, huh?
That was a good voice. Following him was an older man, his face calm and without fear. Soft wrinkles sprouted from his eyes, and he came close enough as he passed for Junpei to see the wisps of gray in his hair. His composure and shock of hair struck Junpei as rather like that of an elderly lion.
Why is lion in brackets?
They're trying to name the characters that don't have names yet.
Oh, gotcha. Lion.
It's like in Danganronpa when they highlight the names orange.
Oh, gotcha.
Or key facts. Yeah.
Going up won't do.
You want me to do this?
You can do it. Yeah, go for it.
Okay, you can do that. Going up won't do you any good. There are 2 doors, but neither of them will open. The next to speak was a girl with pink hair and a high voice.
Come on!
Come on!
Oh, you want to do this?
You
can do this. I have enough voices already.
Aren't you coming? You gotta hurry! Her small hand was wrapped around the wrist of another man. His eyes were closed, almost as though he were sleeping. His features were graceful, almost serene, and he was dressed rather elegantly for someone his age. Something about his posture seemed very refined, and Junpei couldn't help feeling he was noble and dignified somehow. He'd certainly never seen one, but this man seemed like what Junpei had always imagined a prince.
All right, this is my voice. You ready for this?
That's 9 of us then. All of the cards are in hand.
Oh my gosh, you sound so prissy. What does all the cards are in hand mean, he wondered. Junpei opened his mouth to ask what the other man had meant, but the girl with pink hair rushed past him, and they were gone. He turned just in time to see the 2 people Joey was about to predict would be killed. One of them had hair like a bird's nest and looked as though a stiff breeze might topple him. NPC energy, if you will.
Very much so.
And the other was a veritable mountain.
Dude, the ones that are always like super built and you think are like super strong, they always die. Literally every Danganronpa
spoilers
game.
for Danganronpa. He almost feels like he's the Mondo of the group, right? Maybe.
Like it's always the ones you're supposed to least expect.
All right, the scrawny one said nothing and scuttled past Junpei as they were running from something.
Hey, what the hell you just standing there for? Didn't you hear him? The doors on A deck are no good. We gotta check the doors on B deck. Got it? Now go!
Before he had a chance to respond, the man laid a massive hand on Junpei's shoulder. With no more effort than Junpei would have used to brush aside a fly, the man shoved him out of the way.
Whoa!
Thrown off balance by the man in recent events, it took Junpei a few steps to get his bearings. Recent events being the push. Just one simple push. He finally regained his balance and looked up at what the other 7 had been running toward. There were 2 pairs of large iron doors set into the wall in front of him. They looked quite sturdy, and each had handles jutting from them. Written across the surface of each door in red paint was a number. The door on the right had a 4, and the door on the left had a 5.
They're the same.
That's Silver Hair.
Yeah, I got you.
The guy Junpei had decided to call Silver was mumbling to himself.
The room I woke up in had a number on the door, just like that.
You too, eh? With an arched eyebrow, the lion looked over at Silver. My cell was the same. A number upon the door. I opened it, ran down the hallway outside, and found myself in the rather grand room. Full of stairs, as I suspect did the rest of you. It was as though the floodgates had been opened. They all began to talk at once.
Yada yada yada. Me too.
I did that too.
Yeah, door with the number on it. It soon became clear that one of them, one of them had awoken in a room with a locked door and solved the puzzle to escape. They all ended up in the same room, almost as though they had been guided there.
Yes, we all saw the same thing. That's not important. We need to hurry. You think I don't know that, lady?
Before the dancer had time to finish, Silver was already running. He grabbed hold of the door labeled 5 and pulled. Squeak, 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 squeak. However...
F! It's not opening. This damn thing won't even budge.
Dude, when I saw the F word in this game when I first started playing, that's when I was like, oh
it's
snap.
one of those games.
They put a real mature game on the DS. I've never seen a mature game on the DS
Didn't
before.
they put like Call of Duty on the DS one time?
They did, but it's rated T
Is it
because
actually?
they down the graphics so much.
But they curse in that one too, right?
I don't
like.
I think the voice acting was way too low quality to even consider like a prominent like script. So I have no idea.
I remember,
I think it was like super basic.
I remember Soap and like the Command the General. They cursed a lot in that game.
In the DS version,
in the Xbox version at least.
Yeah, the DS version was highly revamped. It was not the same script.
So he says, "Move! You're in the way."
The mountain grabbed Silver's shoulder and tossed him
The
aside.
mountain's got this.
His path cleared. He took a few steps back, then threw himself at the door.
Ugh.
Bong!
Once.
Boom!
Twice.
Three times. 4 times. The door shook as his body slammed into it, but showed no signs of breaking or opening. The mountain threw himself at the door again. Junpei turned towards door 4. Next to the door, on the wall, was a small box. It looked just like the one he had seen in his room, next to that door. If it was the same, then this door likely locked as well. Still, he had to check. Junpei grabbed the handle and threw all of his weight onto it. Joey Junpei. Such sounds. It was locked as tight as the door next to it, as he suspected.
Damn it!
Junpei punched the door.
Yo, what are your hands? You punched a mirror? You punched a metal
Dude,
door?
so dumb sometimes.
How are your hands not broken, dude?
I know, right? Were these the only doors, he wondered? He'd barely finished the thought when C-deck plate he'd passed on his way up sprang, unbidden, to his mind. His body moved before he had time to think. Junpei turned and ran towards the stairs. He had scarcely taken a step when, at the top of the stairs, next to an ornate clock embedded in the wall, he saw a person.
Oh.
It was a girl.
Oh. This is the main character girl. She's alive towards the end. You know it.
I know, right? There's cutscenes surrounding her.
You totally know it.
She looked to be the same age
Either
as Junpei.
that or she's the bad guy.
He froze, unable to look away from her face.
She might be the person, the masked person, calling it.
He wasn't confounded by her beauty or something equally silly.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Or striking assets from the dancer. No, there was another reason he couldn't take his eyes off the girl. Junpei had seen her somewhere before. He couldn't quite remember where, but he knew. He knew he'd met her before.
One-chan? Are there
the One-chan, too, stared at Junpei, similarly stunned. Her response suggested she'd seen him before as well.
I got this one.
Okay, you got this. Okay. Without saying a word, Junpei walked slowly toward her. She didn't move. It was almost as though she was held in place by some sort of magic
she's
spell.
entranced by my dark circle eyes and
my protagonist
hair.
energy.
My protagonist energy.
As Junpei stepped onto her landing, the spell broke. No sooner had he set his foot down than the whole ship shook a second time.
Wait.
The quake caught the girl unprepared, and she fell. Moving on instinct, Junpei leaped to catch her. Or so he thought.
I'm falling.
I'm falling and I can't get up. Life alert. Her face was far closer than it should have been, mere inches from his own.
How clumsy of me.
He was flat on his back, and he had landed squarely on top of him. The girl seemed as confused as he did, and her face suggested she still hadn't fully recovered from seeing him. Oh my god. For a moment that seemed to stretch for a very long time, they stared at one another.
God!
The ship stopped shaking.
We don't have time for this! We're gonna
Everything
die!
was quiet. Water could be heard from the bottom of the ship, lapping faintly at walls and ceilings, but eventually that faded as well. The silence was complete, A thick, muffling blanket.
Thick!
At last, the girl opened her mouth.
Oh my gosh! Is that you, Jumpy?
Jumpy. Her words echo through Junpei's head, and suddenly his memory returned.
It should be like Junpei, right? Because it's Junpei.
It's okay. So Japanese way of saying Junpei is Junpei,
yeah.
but like English, some people say Junpei, so like Jumpy kind of makes sense in the English context. I think Akane calls Junpei like one of your typical Japanese like nicknames, like Junpei-chan or something like that.
Okay, I'm calling every time I see Jumpy.
I don't remember.
Wait, no, I don't remember. I'm doing Junpei-chan from now on, and then Junpei's like Akane-chan.
Oh my gosh, I made a mistake.
No, you made a right.
Why hadn't he realized it before? The girl was Akane Kurashiki.
That was so American.
She and Junpei had been friends in childhood.
Oh my gosh.
They'd gone to elementary school together for 6 years.
Childhood.
The typical childhood trope.
Or whatever.
But what was she doing on the ship? Her soft eyes were only inches away from her own.
Soft eyes.
He could feel the warmth of her face.
And her boobs.
Feelings he'd thought long forgotten began to work their way to the surface. He could feel his face.
She's still on top of him.
At that moment,
right?
They're still lying on the floor. A speaker crackled to life, and a cold, eerie voice filled the room. Welcome aboard. I welcome you all from the bottom of my heart.
Come inside to the bottom of my heart. Vessel. I welcome you.
With the voice's invasion, the spell between Junpei and Akane was broken, and all hints of burgeoning romance instantly forgotten.
Major cockblocker, man, breaking all the spells.
They hurriedly untangled themselves from one another and struggled to their feet.
Let me just untangle myself from you and you're in your body.
Oh my god. Their 7 companions had heard the voice as well, and many of their faces had gone pale. They looked around frantically, desperate to locate the source of the voice. At last they found it, a speaker set in the ceiling. I am Zero, the captain of this ship. I am also the person who invited you here. The voice was harsh, obscured occasionally by the crackle of static, but Junpei recognized it. How could he have forgotten it?
It's Junpei-chan. Hello?
It was the same voice he had heard from from the man in the gas mask.
I swear I thought you just disconnected after that.
No, I'm still here. Just stunned.
Hey. I was gonna say butthole, but it sounds a lot.
Just say it
sounds a lot worse, actually. Hey, Aho, what the hell is this? Come on out here. I want to get a look at you.
What do you mean to do to us? I mean to have you participate in a game.
You mean like?
Some of you I know are familiar with this.
Is this Saw 9? Actually, wait. What part of Saw are we even up to at this point?
No, it's the non-airy game. DS edition. It is a game where you will put your life on the line.
Is there an Xbox version? Because that's the only console I have.
Gosh.
Yeah, I'm a Microsoft boy. Oh, this is me.
You got the dancer?
What was her
non-airy game? Non-airy
It was just
game?
like my voice. So it's like non-airy game.
What the hell's that?
Sorry if he's like not
continued,
supposed to be like an idiot character. That's just kind of what I came up with.
It's okay. I'm voicing the narrator, which does have a lot of lines. So you taking like 5 or 6 characters is already pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah. The rules of the non-airy game can be found upon your persons. They are simple rules. Read them.
Well, but I don't know how to read. Non-airy game. Hey. Wait. Hey, there's something in my pocket. Check this out.
Silver reached into his pocket and pulled out a small slip of paper. The rest of them reached into their own pockets and pulled out similar slips of paper. Junpei followed suit and dug into the pocket of his pants. He felt the telltale crumble of paper, slightly damp from his earlier ordeal.
Hey, I got one too.
Then it would seem Zero has seen fit to grace us each with a letter. Would you mind terribly reading it to us, young man? His request had been delivered to Junpei, who, after a short moment of surprise, did as he'd been asked.
On this ship, you will find a handful of doors emblazoned with numbers. We will call them the numbered doors. The doors in front of you are a pair of the same. The key to opening these numbered doors are the numbered bracelets that each of you possesses. Should you total the numbers on your numbered bracelets and find that the digital root of that number is equal to the number of that door, the door will open. There's just so much freaking math. I didn't expect this. Oh my gosh.
Math. Don't worry. The math isn't too bad. The math is not too bad. You're not going to be doing a ton of math. I know they put a calculator in the menu.
Oh my gosh, there was a calculator. I skipped over that.
You're barely going to use it. You are barely going to use it. It's just if you want to confirm like suspicions.
Only those who pass through the door may come through. Okay.
There are, however, limits. Only 3 to 5 people can pass through one numbered door. All those who enter must leave, and all who enter must contribute.
Bracelet, Junpei figured, had meant to mean the bulky thing on his wrist. He glanced around. It looked like everyone else had one as well.
Oh, sorry,
and
I
come
thought
to
you
that
finished reading
conclusion. That's okay.
The purpose of the game is simple. Leave this ship alive. It is hidden, but an exit can be found. Seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a 9.
Junpei had reached the end of the letter. There was a long moment of silence, and then the speaker crackled to life once more. There is one last thing I must tell you. As you have no doubt surmised, this ship has begun to sink. On April 14th, 1912,
What?
the famous ocean liner Titanic crashed into an iceberg. After remaining afloat for 2 hours and 40 minutes, it sank beneath the waters.
Oh, he's just using that
North
as an
Atlantic.
example.
I will give you
I thought it was
more
the
time.
Titanic.
9 hours. That is the time you will be given to make
How
your
do you
escape.
even control the ship from sinking? That's not up to you.
The voice finished, and the speaker went silent. The sound of a bell tolling echoed through the hall.
It tolls for thee.
It came from the dance hall, adjacent to the stairwell. It took those assembled on the stairs mere moments to trace the sound to an antique clock embedded on the wall. 7, 8, 9. The sound of the 9th bell faded away. The 10th never came.
There's been a murder.
That meant that the time was 9 o'clock.
So dramatic.
Most likely 9 o'clock in the evening.
That's so dramatic. It's useless.
Hey, do you think I make a good narrator, huh?
The 10 never came. That meant the time was 9 o'clock. This is so dramatic.
Dude,
for no reason.
I read. Okay, when I played this game, I read this like in my head. I didn't read it out loud.
I figured.
But now that I read it out loud, it's definitely a lot more dramatic than when I read it. When Junpei had peered out of the window of his cell, he'd seen nothing but blackness.
That's
it
racist.
had to be nighttime. If that was the case, then they would need to escape by 6 a.m. the following day.
And 6 upside down.
Now
it is 9.
Oh, mind games. Let our game begin. I wish you all the best of luck.
Okay.
The speaker went silent and did not speak again.
Yeah, that's what happens when the speaker goes silent. That was kind of repetitive for no reason.
Silver yelled at the speaker with language coarse enough to embarrass a sailor, but the rest of Junpei's
Like
companions
a-hole
were silent,
and F.
deep in thought.
F
Joey was glad that the narrator talked about his cursing instead of actually putting it in the bubble. Junpei too was consumed by his thoughts. There was a great deal he didn't understand. Who was Zero? What was the non-airy game? Why had he chosen to make them part of it? Was he a criminal who took delight in playing with his victims? Or did he have some other purpose? And why had Junpei been chosen as part of this insane game? Why had any of them been chosen?
This is like Lost.
But one question was foremost on his mind. Will he escape the Reaper's game in 7 days? Akane. They hadn't seen each other They hadn't seen one another since elementary school. Why had she appeared now? Coincidence? No, that seemed impossible.
Oh my god, I swear, this is like they all knew each other and their memory was wiped or something. I freaking swear. It's one of those.
One of those. He didn't know what it might be, but there had to be a reason. Very well. The lion's voice seemed oddly loud in the silence. Standing around here won't do us any good. Best we get moving, don't you think?
Get moving?
Are you planning to open the numbered doors?
Oh my gosh, I can't take Akane seriously now because I'm in a place.
Hey, wait! Don't tell me you're actually going to do what this zero says.
No,
dude,
that's not what I mean.
Art animation reminds me of like, have you played Putt Putt Goes to the Zoo? Or like Putt Putt,
a little bit.
Any of those games?
It reminds me more.
It kind of reminds me of like Paint animation, like Microsoft Paint animation.
Sure. I mean, they did the best they could with DS resolutions.
Completely understandable.
The lion shook his head, mildly annoyed. I'm saying, let's find another way. After all, we haven't really examined this place yet.
What?
It's in Morse code. I solved the puzzle.
Ding dong.
It's
punishment time!
The 11 never came. That meant it was 10 o'clock.
Their separate investigations finished. All 9 people returned to where they'd left one another. The result of all their work was nothing. They were completely sealed in. Their hard work had not gone completely to waste, however. They had learned a number of things as they secured the parts of the ship they could reach. Scoured, sorry. It seemed that they were confined to decks A through C. C deck was as far down as they would be able to go, however. The reason being...
Ooh, it's flooded.
That D deck was completely submerged.
D deck be submerged.
Strangely, however, the water had risen no higher than D deck. The flow seemed to have been stopped somehow, as evidenced by the surface of the water. This is just a simulation, D-deck, which was as smooth as glass.
We're in the Matrix.
What is this, DR2? The prince knelt down and gently drew his hand across it.
Oh.
Danganronpa 2.
Spoilers.
Perhaps this zero... Oh, yo,
right.
That's you. That's you.
Perhaps... Wait, what was it? Perhaps this... Oh, wait.
The royal...
I always mess this one up. I think of like... It's like Pegasus, like, perhaps this Zero fellow has used some sort of remote control to seal a watertight door lower down. He said that our time limit was 9 hours. In other words, this water won't rise for 9 hours. Then yours... Wait, what is this voice? Oh my gosh, I have so many voices now. You're saying we won't sink till then? Well, that may be a little too optimistic. No point to wishful thinking.
There were 3 metal doors on C deck. A single door stood off to the side, with 2 more on the wall facing the central staircase. None of them had numbers or verification devices. They were, however, locked like the other doors. No matter how much they pushed and shoved, the doors refused to move. The mountain and the lion threw themselves against them a few times.
The mountain, like that sentence just sounds so like dramatic.
The door in the back had a keyhole. Just above it was a strange mark in the shape of a circle surrounding a dot. There were 2 other doors on C deck as well, but it was clear they were elevators, as each had a button next to it with an upside-down triangle. They tried pushing the button. No response. Apparently there was no power running to the elevators. To the left of the elevator doors was a card reader. The card reader also had a strange
Japanese for ne. That's hiragana for ne.
It looked like a lowercase h with a dash drawn across the upper stem of the H.
That's Japanese.
This is the symbol of Saturn. It's an astrological symbol.
Then the mark on the other door.
I think that was the sun symbol.
They had seen the same symbols on A deck. There was a door on either side of the stairs. The one on the left had a keyhole with a similar symbol engraved on it.
That's the one for Earth. I actually guessed that one before it came on. I was like, that's definitely Earth.
Please, just do a normal voice for Akane.
This is what you're gonna get, Sammy. You gave me the role. I got the voices.
Oh, God.
The horizontal line symbolizes the equator, and the vertical one represents the prime meridian.
This is terrible. Junpei looked up at the ceiling. There was a great circle cut in it, perhaps for a skylight or a glass dome, but had been filled with a gargantuan metal plate. The metal looked very solid. Anything short of an explosive charge was unlikely to damage it. There were several windows along both sides of the ship, or at least there had been. They, too, were covered with metal plates. In other words...
We're trapped! We're on a boat, y'all!
You got it!
We're trapped! All the exits go nowhere!
Junpei was not happy.
Junpei was not happy.
Thank you, narrator.
Not happy at all.
Definitely know that. I didn't understand.
The girl with pink hair spoke up.
Oh my gosh. Who was this? You? This is you.
Well, I'm sure they go somewhere. We just can't open them.
The mountain spoke. What a line. You don't know that. For all we know, they just open into walls or take us in circles. The prince did not agree.
No, I'm sure they go somewhere. Otherwise, what?
Oh my gosh, he has a British accent now.
Oh no.
Otherwise, what point would they be? And we can open them. Well, 2 of them at least.
Yeah, the prince's voice is good, but oh my gosh, Akane's.
It's like it's similar to the mountain's voice. That's why I got confused because it's like it was like back to back.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, this is me again.
You mean the number doors?
Right. Yep. All eyes turned towards the doors with numbers on them.
Okay, and with that, we are nearing the end of our second episode of this series. So thank you guys so much for watching. I am like 80% glad that I continued playing this game because that first puzzle, I just felt like an idiot. I was so tilted because like I pretty much had everything. Okay, this is me making excuses. I admit. I pretty much had everything, but I thought I had everything, but I just needed to press like one mattress to get that freaking clue, and then I could solve it. But I pretty much knew what to do. I just didn't have all the tools I needed.
Now we know what Joey's main motivation is: striking assets.
Yes.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
As soon as they die, as soon as those assets go away, we're done playing this game.
Oh no!
The series ends. Just FYI. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video where the atmosphere in the room will grow tense.
Bye.